start with questions.
Is there a recovery timeline for Zion, Lake, and Gino?
Yeah, I'll expect them all to be full go or close to full go for fall camp. Lake will probably be, just because his injury was later than the others. He'll probably be the latest one, but he's way ahead, so he's definitely got a shot to certainly be a participant and hopefully a full participant fall camp. The other two certainly will be. So all three of those guys really, really hard workers, like guys that attack the process. Like, you don't worry about their mentality or their aggressiveness in terms of their rehab. So they're all ahead. Zion and Gino are starting to get to the point where they can do a few things functionally out on the field. Lake's still a little bit further behind them. But yeah, very hopeful and expecting to have them all this season.
Coach, which early enrollee freshmen have stood out to you so far?
Hard to say after 2 days. I mean, there's not any that I would give back. Wish I get you can now, right? So, no, it's been so far so good. I mean, I like the young linebackers, kind of how they move and fly around. They've caught my eye. Gallegos, Marcellus have certainly caught my eye. All of the young guys on the front, you see the size, the length, the potential. All of those guys certainly, are exciting. So Brian Jackson's done some nice things. DJ Jordan's done some nice things. Some of the young linemen we like. I mean, all of them have they're all still freshmen. They're all still swimming, but there's certainly some ability there.
Coach, on Tuesday you talked about the patience of the team showing. How was it today, second day? Was it same, or was it a little bit more energy? You had to pull it back?
Probably a little bit more energy. We did a little bit more team and competitive drills today, and so you kind of felt the juice of it coming up. And so probably even a little bit more energy here than the second day. And I think the excitement of going in, making some of the corrections, and coming out and knowing that you're going to be better, and you could just see that across the board, which is really, really good. And so, but obviously they're excited for Saturday. These days are fun, but they don't compare to putting shoulder pads on and hearing the pops and playing the game from a physical standpoint. So looking forward to that.
Lincoln, just curious, there's a report, I think yesterday, just that Caleb, I think, during the Holiday Bowl, he was prepared to play, but then he came to you and said he would sit, for Miller to kind of get an opportunity before the transfer portal. Is that accurate? Did that happen, or is that not accurate?
I don't think I would delve into the specifics of it. I think Caleb made a decision, based on his professional career, and which I certainly get. And is he the type of teammate that would look at it and see that on top of that it could help another guy? Yes. But I don't know if it's accurate that somebody just simply wouldn't play just because of that. So I know he obviously, as much as anybody, was obviously very excited for the way that Miller played.
What do you anticipate Elijah Newby playing for you guys?
We're working him at inside linebacker right now, but with his speed and his athleticism, it'll be interesting to see kind of how that goes, and certainly kind of watching how his body develops, watching his ability to rush the passer. So you obviously have to find a starting point for these guys, and that made the most sense for his body right now from a rep standpoint. But you could envision him growing into a few different roles potentially, just because it is pretty rare athleticism and speed for a guy with his size and his length. So he's with Coach Entz right now, learning the whole defense, and we'll see where it evolves.
You've had a few transfer portal kind of groups come in now. What stands out so far maybe about this group, how they've meshed and kind of gotten going?
Yeah, it's so far it seems like a very mature group. There's some really strong leaders out of it, which that's been, I think, really, really good. Pretty selfless group. It reminds me in a lot of ways of the group our first year coming in. It's not as many, obviously, but there's a lot of mature guys, a lot of high energy guys. Like, you kind of feel their presence on the practice field, even here in the beginning, which I think that's really important. So, Scott, you had another one.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to ask you if you ever had any players that could comp to Elijah Newby.
Yeah, we had I'm going to take you way back. You won't know the name. We had a kid at East Carolina named Monteith Overton that came and played for us there. He was a local kid from Greenville that could just fly and turned into a really good player. We ended up moving him all over on the edge, just all over the place, and he ended up being really, really special. I mean, I think the hope with a newbie is he could grow into somebody like almost like a Kenneth Murray was for us at Oklahoma. Now, Kenneth came in bigger, and then he kind of got faster.
Yeah.
Newbie comes in pretty fast. He's going to get a little bit bigger, but I think you envision maybe that type of athlete at some point.
You talked about getting bigger a lot throughout the offseason. Was there a specific change in the strength and conditioning program to kind of help facilitate that? Because especially now, it's not just about lifting
For
heavy
sure.
stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's a change philosophically within the program first. I mean the strength and conditioning and the nutrition, like their job is to take the coach's vision and then put it on the guys or take it off the guys. Like they got to take that and make it to fruition, right? So obviously there's been a big push especially on the defensive front to get bigger from a philosophical standpoint, and so we give that to Coach Wiley, to Rachel Suba, all of those people, and then they take it and run with it. And yeah, the results, even a couple months in, I know I shared a few the other day, but the results are there. I mean, we are noticeably bigger at most spots, and a few spots we are. I mean, there's some massive changes in every part of the word, right? So yeah, it's just I think being in sync within your program, knowing what you want, what you expect, and making sure that everybody's working hard to get that done.
Along those lines, was adding length in the secondary and at corner specifically a priority this offseason?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think you're always wanting that. I mean, I don't know that there's any defense that you don't want that, but we have been, and I know we've talked about it some here in the first 2 years. At several positions, we've been pretty small, and that shows up. And when you're trying to obviously increase the physicality of your team, I think when you're going to more of a professional style defensive scheme, I mean, all that fits. Certainly to have bigger DBs. So yeah, obviously the freshmen fit that. The transfers obviously add some pretty immediate length and size. So yeah, you can. Our quarterbacks have certainly been able to notice that the last few days.
Thank you, Coach Riley.
Yeah, thanks.